Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we are going to do our weekly, briefly rundown of Married at First Sight. This time with season 18, episode 11. Remember, we don't go too crazy, we don't go too in depth. We just share what happens, what went down, and what we need to know about the future of some of these couples. All right, so in episode 11, we see Alan not feeling like he's good enough for Madison, as she shows no attraction no matter what he wears or says or does. Akechi continues to blame Amin for everything, but she continues to take him back. Michelle tries to glow up for David. Carla shows Juan a little bit more of her world. Let's dive into this episode. Alan is frustrated. Madison's just not doing it. He's hitting the gym. He's losing things. He's even agreed to let go of some of his corny jokes. He just understands her lack of affection and traction is clear as day. They do like to party, but argue after a trip into the bar to watch a football game when Alan wants to drive back to his place. Madison warns him against it. He says he's fine. The morning after, he gives a flimsy excuses why he took the risk. Yeah, I mean, eh, you don't drink and drive. You know what I mean? Um, there's still tension, right? The Married at First Sight mismatch meetup with the expert Dr. Pepper to dig in a little bit deeper. Alan tells Pepper that no matter what he does, he just doesn't feel like Madison is attracted to him. So he point blank asks her if it's true. Madison responds to this. It's a weird question on Married at First Sight. She says she's attracted to his kindness, but at this point, it's not what Alan wants to hear. He also bringing up being much more natural with hugs and interactions with the rest of the cast, especially David. So this is a foreshadowing of some of the intermingling of the Chicago cast. Who knows, right? You know what I mean? What do we not see of what's going on with some of these couples? Getche continues to take no accountability for being a jerk. He's already moved out of the apartment he shares with Amim and has embarrassed her at the couple anniversary dinner. Amim is still stinging from the criticism and name calling he subjected her to. She sits down with Dr. Pia, who kind of drops the ball here by suggesting Amin is too sassy for Akechi. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you trying to reverse the blame here? I didn't really like this dynamic here. Yeah, maybe you're a little bit too sassy, but maybe he needs to stop being a little bit of a jerk all the time to her. Pastor Cal Robinson meets with Akechi, who whines at Amin was pushing him to be intimate before he was ready and asking too many questions. The pastor, he said, as he loves it when the married first couple couples jump right into all the benefits of being legal married, he puts Agechi in his place for calling her an asshole. Thank you. Somebody did this thing right. The pastor said he still wants him to give the experiment another try. Later, the experts sit down with Akechi and Imam. It's still like all kinds of weird, especially when Pastor Cal tries to explain away Akechi's bad behavior by saying he's art and she's science. I don't know, man. It I don't understand how we're continuously like letting people make up for bad decisions and bad behavior, right? I just I don't love this at all. Mame asked to move back into the apartment. He agrees, but tells the producers he's not happy about it. So, did you want to move in or not? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand that dynamic here either. Um, Michelle takes a little progress during a sit down with Dr. Pepper and David as their different passive views come into play. Michelle thinks he needs a style makeover, so she drags him clothing shopping with a friend. I'm not mad about that. At the store, she suggests he tries to style himself, give off Drake and Travis Kelce vibes. David's a good sport, but scenes from next week don't look too great for him. Camille and Thomas continue to be stable, if not kind of, a touch boring. Thomas seems to be holding back a little bit, playing it safe. The pair are asked to, with the standard of Married at First Sight assignment of writing a letter to their younger self. Camille admits to being a caretaker for her younger siblings and her parents during her parents' divorce, and Thomas gets emotional about his father and childhood insecurities. I still think that these two have the best chance of, making things work. Juan's concerned with Carla quitting her job. To her credit, she's already styling, clients at her house. Juan grills her about the business side of things, but she's convinced the energy of the universe and a few pink crystals will give her everything she needs to succeed. She just wants Juan to understand her better. So it takes him to Pilates class with her mentor. He leaves with some sore glutes and crystals of his very own. Very sweet moment. Maybe they can try to pick this thing back up and make things work. But this was a little bit of step up from the episode. I think that this episode was a little bit better for me. I found myself enjoying some of the elements of the couples a little bit more. Obviously, there's couples that aren't going to make it. That's just point blank what's going to happen, right? That's just part of the experiment, part of the show. But I do think that it's nice to see some things pick up. But that's it for this week's episode of the Love and Reality podcast covering season 18 of Married at First Sight. Remember, season 18 is on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Lifetime. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode. We will be back next week as we continue to catch up a little bit on Married at First Sight.